friends, it's Alyssa back at you with some final facts. Today we're going to be talking about Tomi Lahren's most recent final thoughts, discussing her little trip to the border and having a vacation with Border Patrol. So let's go ahead and get started, because of course Tomi's got nothing but opinions and skewed ideas, nothing based in fact. So here's the facts, here's the truth. Let's get started. Tomi, of course, was so angry and wanted to make it such a point again that if these immigrants want to seek asylum, they have to come to the right port of entry. Tomi, here's what you're not understanding. What you're not understanding is that several cities along the border are turning away asylum seekers at these ports. They're actually saying right now that these people can't apply because the ports are at capacity. But here's what's really sketchy about that. The Customs Border and Patrol Agency refuses to provide us with any appropriate data proving that they are at capacity. So what's up with that? Do we care about that? I guess not. In fact, asylum seekers are being turned away at international bridges before they can even reach a port. And I don't know if you know this, Tomi, but Sessions literally issued a ruling making it so if you're seeking protection from gang violence and domestic abuse, that doesn't qualify you for asylum. What the heck? Come on, that seems pretty basic. In fact, it seems basic enough that immigration lawyers have been saying that the CBP's attempts to block applicants like they are currently doing is illegal. Tomi, by law, that agency is required to process everybody seeking asylum. So I think it's so hilarious how weird it is that Tomi complains all day about immigrants breaking the law, but has no problem with the CBP breaking the law at all. Funny how that works out, huh? In fact, I want you guys to know that the Obama administration, the CBP officials from the Obama administration, responded to surges in asylum seekers by creating temporary processing facilities because they saw that was the most tangible solution rather than Trump's solution of just, of course, blocking everybody from coming in, because now you can't seek asylum. Your only option is, well, go back to where you came from and die, probably, or you can go in illegally and risk everything. So at the end of the day, Tomi, when your choice is dying or go illegal, what are you going to choose? From Tomi and the rights perspective, they don't give a fuck about these people. They just want them to go back and die. That's all they want them to do. And of course, Tomi says, don't expect the U.S. to pull out the red carpet treatment for these people coming in illegally. What? What kind of false equivalency, dude? Since when is asking for children not to be put in concentration camps the same thing as requesting they get red carpet treatment? What are you talking about? Like, come on. And of course, Tomi has this fake concern. Again, she's hiding her racism under the concern of thousands of pounds of drugs being brought in and crime being brought in. You don't care about drugs, Tomi. If you cared about drug trafficking, you would know that pouring billions into the wall has been proven. There's reports after reports after reports that pouring all this money into the wall is going to do absolutely nothing, especially in the sense of drug trafficking, because right now, majority of those smugglers get the drugs over by sneaking them through ports of entry. In fact, you only have a 1 in 7 chance of getting caught smuggling drugs at a port of entry versus the insanely high chance you have going out and facing the elements where the border wall would actually be at. And why? Alyssa, how are these people slipping through? Well, if you guys have done your own research, Tammy, because you haven't, the Trump administration is doing absolutely nothing about the $5 billion that have been requested in documented needs, from renovations to staffing at these ports of entry. These ports of entry are understaffed, they're not running correctly, they don't have enough money to keep things going efficiently, and rather than Trump giving them any money at all, he's never addressed this, he's done nothing, he's just talked and talked and talked and pushed to put billions into the wall. So what about that? Clearly you aren't concerned about drug trafficking. Concerned about crime? Really, Tomi, you're concerned about crime? Because I don't know if you know this, but undocumented illegal immigrants' crime rates are significantly less than native-born citizen crime rates, and even less than that is the legal immigrant crime rates. So both legal and illegal immigrants have crime rates lower than native-born citizens. In fact, cities with higher percentages of undocumented immigrants actually experience far less violent crime, which is, again, hilarious, because I don't know if you guys know this, Trump is pulling this, like, Hitler-esque Nazi Germany practice of meeting with families that have loved ones killed by illegals. I mean, he was freaking signing his autograph on pictures of dead Americans. And he's trying to propagate and push that there's some huge epidemic and crisis of illegals as a threat to Americans. But I want to break this down because there's been this number thrown around by the Trump administration, by tons of people, that somewhere like 63,000 American citizens have been killed by illegal immigrants, which is completely false. There was a study from 1995 to 2010, over 55 years. We saw 934,000 homicides, Americans killed, and out of that 934,000 homicides, only 25,000 were committed by illegal immigrants. So essentially, to break it down into a more digestible number, that's 17,000 American homicides a year, and only 460 of those are committed by illegal immigrants. So essentially what that would mean is that criminal aliens are responsible for less than 3% of all American homicides. What? Come on. And what's even further, I want to talk about white-on-white crime. Over 2,500 white Americans a year are killed by other white Americans. What does this mean? Tommy, me, Republicans, anybody who's a white American, you have an 18% chance of getting killed by an illegal versus an 82% chance of getting killed by another white American. And here's my question. Again, if 460 American deaths is enough to justify an epidemic of illegals, then what about the 20,000 citizens a year who die from lack of health insurance coverage? In fact, what about the 34,000 Americans a year who commit suicide? That's twice our homicide rate, which means that you are far more likely statistically as an American to kill yourself than you are to get killed by an illegal. Come on, come on. Tommy says that these open, border-loving leftists, if they had their way, the borders would just be open and drugs would be flowing into our communities. Again, I just proved you don't even care about drug trafficking right there. And here's the thing, Tommy, almost no one, I really haven't met anybody that legitimately wants an open border. We just have this radical expectation that the country that claims to be the greatest in the world would be advanced enough to modernize immigration efficiency. But they won't. They won't, because King Capitalism calls for this purposely complicated process for profit. Follow the money, you guys. That's all you got to do is follow that money, and you will see that the most powerful, those, the top 1%, they are earning all of this money doing these types of things at our expense. Who do you think's profiting off these camps? Who's profiting off private prisons? Come on, you guys, you got to see the bigger picture and not buy into Tommy and Fox's fake narratives. Because of course Tommy says the left unfairly demonize our Border Patrol agents. It's just like the war on cops. The left is the problem. The left are ungrateful. The left are misinformed. This is Tommy exhibiting textbook gaslighting techniques. Gaslighting, and for those of you who don't know, that is manipulating someone into questioning their own sanity. It's a form of abuse that you can do. Someone with power or influence can take advantage by using their power to blur and erase tangible realities. So here we go, guys. Here's how I'm going to break that down. Republicans are so anti-government, yet they worship the people literally carrying out the government's idea of law and order. And if Tommy wasn't so blinded, if the right and Republicans weren't so blinded, they would see that there's no war on Border Patrol agents, there's no war on cops. It's a war on the systems they uphold that are rooted in oppression and genocide. And anyone who knows their history knows this is true. I mean, come on. Our early policing-based divisions included slave patrol and night watches that were literally designed to help keep wealthy white landowners in power through controlling minority behavior. And again, Tommy, it's so easy for you to back law enforcement when your skin color and your birthplace automatically grant you fair protection over everyone else, even over other citizens. And of course, Tommy wants to say the liberals, they don't want to talk about the fact that Latinos actually represent over half of the Border Patrol workforce. That would get in the way of their race-baiting arguments. False, Tommy. Actually, that statistic helps me in talking about my argument of very, very true, tangible racism in this country still. Because, you know, the fact that over half of our Border Patrol agents are Latino just proves once again that immigrants are willing to do the job and do the work that Americans won't do themselves, that white Americans won't do themselves, including literally protecting themselves in their country. In fact, I love that Tommy mentioned this. I love that Tommy made half her video the point about the fact that over half of the Border Patrol force is Latino when Tommy herself did a bunch of photo ops with like 5 or 6 Border Patrol agents, and every single person that she like talked about and took a picture with was white. Ha! Hilarious, Tommy. And in fact, most of these Border Patrol agents are second and third generation Americans that can't make ends meet. Their families, arguably, most of them probably immigrated here legally and did it the right way, and their families are still struggling, even after doing it the right way. If that doesn't show you that the American dream is dead, I don't know what does. In fact, the reason why we see many Latino Border Patrol agents is because the Border Patrol doesn't require, it's one of the few jobs that doesn't require a bachelor's, but still provides decent pay and benefits comparatively. It also is a job that requires you're bilingual, and of course, many Latinos will fit that. In fact, there's also been several reports that the background check process is extremely lax for Border Patrol agents in order to recruit more in a smaller time frame. I don't know if you know this, like the turnover for Border Patrol agents, like over half of their turnover is due to Border Patrol agents like not following the law, disobeying orders, having improper conduct, all of that type of stuff. Look into it. Tommy says our Border Patrol agents are not cold-hearted. They're not racist. They're humanitarians with an important and challenging job. And instead of slamming them, we should be thanking them, because they don't just protect citizens. They protect illegals, including over 3,000 that they rescued from dangerous and life-threatening situations. Okay, whatever. Whatever, Tommy. Come on. Okay, the thing is, these people are not humanitarian gods. They're human. They're human, and they are capable of mistakes no matter how good their intentions may be. And you really want to sit here and tell me that I should applaud these guys for not letting children die who ask for help? No. Are you serious? Are you serious? And the other thing is Tommy will talk all day about how these Border Patrol agents are saints, but she's not going to mention the fact that we have proof in the past of Border Patrol agents intentionally destroying supplies left for migrants in the Arizona desert. So what the fuck does it matter if they help these people if they were the one who destroyed their supplies in the first place? And of course, Tommy won't talk about how Border Patrol agents have been found guilty of corruption-related charges, including human smuggling, theft, bribery, breaking and entering, money laundering, providing false statements, committing drug-related crimes while armed, and don't forget rape and sexual assault. Don't forget about that. In fact, I don't know if you guys saw in the news recently, we had an employee of a New York Children's Detention Center who recently quit in protest of the administration and all these changes. She actually had proof on video of employees telling the children, making threats to these detained children, that if they talked about what happened to them in here to the press, they threatened that their parents would be deported, that they wouldn't get a chance to become a citizen. They made all sorts of threats just if these kids were to come out and say what happened to them inside the facility, and you guys don't think that's sketch. Okay, all right. That's it. Those are my final facts to your final thoughts. That was the truth. That's what is really going on. If you guys like what you see, consider donating to my Patreon. The link is below. Also, check out my sponsor, Amelia Perez. Link below to that and all my other sponsors. Please check those guys out. Sorry. And if you like what you see, keep coming back, subscribe, like, and I'll catch you next time. Bye, guys.